Okay, good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. My name is Coach Bob Fitzgerald. I'd like to thank you for taking a little time with us this morning and dialing into the conference call. What I want to look at today is actually one of the most common questions that we get probably hundreds of times a day in prospecting for our great partners. And the question is from a for sale by owner or an expired listing, do you have a buyer for my home? Or sometimes it'll show up in the form of, well, if you have a buyer, bring them by. And I want to share with you how we handle that question, because in a lot of cases, we're dealing with what it is at the core of what the sellers want, and that is the ability to get their home sold, and we want to encourage them that that's possible. So let's just take a look at that question. I'll show you how we handle that. Let's take it at face value, first of all. As I'm selling real estate, as I'm a real estate agent, I would get asked that question all the time. Somebody say, do you have a buyer for my home? Well, I would simply say, well, I'm really not sure. I haven't had a chance to see the property yet. I know that we are working with several buyers that are indeed looking for homes, and leave it at that. I haven't seen the property yet. I just avoid the topic of whether or not I have the buyer, but I would always take it a step further, because it wasn't enough to leave a seller with just a sidestep of the question. What I really wanted to do is give the seller the truth they were looking for. And the truth that they're looking for is that there are other buyers looking for homes like mine, whether I'm working with one particularly or not. So the truth of the matter is, in every price range, in every marketplace, there are several sales on a month-to-month basis. As a real estate agent, I would always find out about how many sales there were per month in each price range, so that when I was faced with this question, it was real easy for me to say to the seller, but the good news is this: there are between 30 and 40 buyers every single month that are purchasing a home in your price range. So in the next 90 days, there'll be over 100 buyers that are going to purchase a property in the price range. What I'd like to do is take a look at your home, talk to you about your options, tell you whether or not we happen to have a buyer ourselves, but more importantly, show you what we can do to access all 100 of the buyers that will purchase in your price range in the next 90 days. The good news is I have time available both next week, and we could either do on Tuesday or we could do something on Wednesday. What day might work better for you? And you can see I can take that conversation right into a closing sequence. So I guess first and foremost, I just kind of want you to think like a seller for a moment. They really want to know, do you have a buyer for my home? And the answer is, I can find one if I don't. But a little bit more of an educational way of saying that would simply be, well, let's do it as if I were doing it on your behalf now, as we're performing our prospecting service. I might say, well, so-and-so really wouldn't know if he has a buyer for the property, as he hasn't had a chance to see the home. The good news, though, is there are literally dozens of purchasers in every price range on a month-to-month basis. There will be plenty of buyers that are indeed looking for properties in your price range. If so-and-so doesn't have a buyer himself, he can certainly show you exactly what it would take to access all the buyers that will purchase in the price range in the next, literally 60 to 90 days. So the good news is he wanted me to set up an appointment with you. We could do it either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Well, he's there. He can take a look at your property, talk about your options, go over what's happening in the market with you, and really talk to you about what it would take to actually expose the property to enough of these buyers to make sure that you get an offer and get it sold. So when would be a better time to meet? Would Tuesday be better, or would, Wednesday work best? And then we start closing for the appointment. Now, obviously, we've already pre-qualified, or we're not going to start the closing sequence, because we need to know what their motivation is, why they're moving, how soon they need to be there, what their time frame is, whether they have any equity, what are they thinking about the price, where are they? Are they a listable opportunity? But the reality is, do you have a buyer for the home is the wrong question. If a seller were educated, the question would be, are there buyers for homes like mine? What is it going to take to get one to make an offer? And that's what your listing presentation is all about. So I just wrote down these last two words I'd like you to have you go ahead and write down. First is the word prospecting, and second is the word presentation. Prospecting is our job. That's where we'll make the thousands of outbound dials to generate the hundreds of contacts that we need in order to have some quality leads to follow up with and some quality sellers to be able to set appointments for our partners with. Prospecting is the process of identifying opportunities for our partners to go out and make listing presentations. The presentation is your job. The presentation is where you apply for the job of becoming their listing agent. Great Mike Ferry line I learned early on as a real estate agent was, Mr. Seller, I would like to apply for the job of selling your home. And it was a great line because it really thoroughly describes in one sentence really what a listing presentation is all about. It's a job interview. They're looking to get their home sold. You're interviewing for the job, and a part of that interviewing process is going to be educating them as to what you do to get homes sold, where these buyers come from, what's happening in the market. What does your track record look like? The things that you would say to a seller that would cause them to say, you know what, you're the right agent for the job. The good news is in the last 6 years, we've set more than 30,000 listing appointments for great agents. Our partners have gone on these job interviews and gotten the listings so many times, gotten so many of them sold that they have earned millions and millions of dollars in commissions, which has been great for us because we are working for the referral fee as well. So let's really get the sellers excited about the fact that even if we don't have a buyer specifically, there are indeed buyers looking for homes in the price range right now. And for the next 60 to 90 days, it only takes one. Let's talk about how we can get access to them all. So that's how we handle that question. Hopefully that helps. Good luck with your appointments this week, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.